I wake up every morning thinking I love Sonny more than I did yesterday. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. I love both my children more than I do yesterday. They're both ends of the rainbow to me.
Sonny, what do you love about your mom and your dad?
What's your daddy's name?
Ron.
What's your mommy's name?
D.
What's your name?
Sure.
And sister is?
D.
Can you tell Scott, where's Jesus?
On his shoulder.
They go to wife. They go with Tim and Dad.
You enjoy going to Tim's with Dad?
I was with Dad.
And that's Dad drywalling?
That
was Daddy drywalling. What does Daddy do? Does Daddy drive the?
Buzzings. Who with Daddy?
Daddy drives the car.
The car.
And he brings Sonny to Grande Prairie to go to work and to
With
sing.
Dad.
What do you like to sing?
I was with Dad.
Can you sing? This little light
I
of
am
mine,
Ron.
I'm gonna let it
Thank
shine.
God. Thank you, church.
Thank you for church. Yes. Sonny, what do you like to do with the garden? What's that machine in the garden, Bob?
Junior.
A rotor tiller.
A rotor tiller.
I'm with Daddy.
He does the rotor tillering.
I'm with Joy.
And Joy too. Yeah.
Hey, Sonny, can you tell me about your friends?
Hi, Daddy. Hi.
Hi to Scott.
Hi,
You're his friend.
Hi, Sonny.
Yes.
And if you're happy and you know it, absolutely.
Sure, Mom.
Yes, those are your Christmas presents.
Thank
We
you.
got everybody on Sonny's caregivers a shirt.
Oh, Daddy.
Very nice, Sonny.
And we have a Sonny's ministry, and it's on YouTube channel. And now we just point to the back of our shirts. If you want to know about our family and our family ministries, just check out our YouTube channel.
Nice.
Thank you, Daddy.
Can everybody tell me just one thing that you love about Sonny? Andrea, what do you love about Sonny?
I love Sonny's smile and his humor.
I go good. Thank you, my parents. Good dad, good friend. A good teacher.
Yeah, we're going on the plane tomorrow. You
Nice.
betcha.
And I wake up every morning thinking I love Sonny more than I did yesterday. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. I love both my children more than I do yesterday. They're both ends of the rainbow to me.
Ron.
He's genuine. There's nothing that's fake about him, you know.
Amen.
All Sonny's ever known in his life is love, and that's what he gives. He asks for nothing. He absolutely asks for nothing. The only thing that matters is the people in his life.
That's perfect. I think that's good. Okay.
Awesome.
I go
Awesome.
so Dad.
That's drywalling again.
Drywalling.
He used
I go
to,
to Joe.
he used to have the exact sound of a drywall screw gun putting a screw
As he was watching you
Yeah.
and heard it, he knew how to imitate it perfectly.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And during COVID, you learned 3 new words. Crazy. Say it.
I got
Hazy.
Daddy and my Joy.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
And strange.
Let's go pen and change.
Those are jeans and pants. You're right.
Okay.
I would think Sonny has 600 words or so. He can really make his
I go see with Dad.
emotions known
I
to
go
the
with
people that love him.
I go with him.
But say if he was without us or something, Sonny can often get his no's and yeses mixed up.
I
It's
go
his
back
body
then,
language telling
I
you
go
no
back
when he
then.
might be saying yes.
I go back
So
past.
and Andy can confirm if he doesn't want to do something, he's not gonna do it.
There's no doubt about it if he doesn't want to do something.
If he's sick, he will not get up. We can't send him off to school or work or sick or anything because he will not go.
Okay.
He lets us know.
Thank you.
Can you say thank you to Scott?
Thank you. I got there with like a Joy car.
Yes, Joy's going to bring you in your car. We're going to meet Joy at the mall around 4 or 4:30, your usual day. Then we're going to get you and Andy to the airport by 10:30 tomorrow.
Ron and Debbie Sanders. Will you tell me your full names?
I'm Ronald Alex Sanders, born in Penticton in 1950, so I'm 72 years old.
Debbie.
And Debbie and I have been married just over 52 years.
Okay.
And I'm Deborah K. Bailey Sanders. I was born in Pendleton, Oregon in September 30th, 1951, and I'm 71.
How did you guys meet?
We met at a private school in Caldwell, Idaho, called Gem State Academy. It's operated by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And we met in the fall, September of 1969, at a friendship get together, get to know each other, you know, and I was really attracted to her smile. And
Still are.
oh yeah, I thought her last name was Bailiff, but so when I called the dormitory, you know, to speak to her, they told me they didn't have anybody named Bailiff, but they summoned Debbie Bailey, so they
figured out who she was.
yeah, absolutely.
And I've been his bailiff since, no.
Yeah.
And it was 68, and we
Pardon
correct
me.
each other, so that's just us. We're a team, and we kind of cover each other's bases, and it was the September 1968 at the handshake.
Okay, and you had told me that you ended up praying for Ron to become your husband. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was a very shy person, and he really was my first love and my first date and my first everything. And I thought by Christmas time that I prayed for the Lord to make me his wife.
And you guys got married.
And we did. We got married in December 20th, 1970.
Okay.
Right.
You had told me that as part of maybe the courting process that you guys ended up going to a mental institution for a date. That's true? Tell me the story on that.
Well, when you're in an Adventist school, they encourage to have friendships and to nurture it,
But don't get too serious.
But don't get too serious.
Okay.
But we like to do things together and get off campus when we could. And there was a Teachers
Of tomorrow.
Teachers of Tomorrow. We belong to that club, and the faculty member decided to take us to the Idaho State Mental Institution. And we signed up to go because we wanted to sit on the bus together and talk and have a day together. And it was...
What was it like?
It was a real shock. We wanted to enjoy our day, but as soon as we walked through those doors, we knew we were...
a different reality.
It was so horrific, and it stayed with us forever. Images are seared in our minds.
Really? Okay. And you had told me that you ended up telling God, I don't want a child who's disabled, or
Yes.
because of what you saw there.
Yes.
Okay.
But we did, both of it, Ron and I did kind of have an epiphany. We toured the institution, and we were going into a dining hall, and a young man with Down syndrome was holding the door open for us.
Yeah.
And his eyes glanced at mine, and we locked eyes. And I felt, I am so fortunate. My life is ahead of me. I have a future. He doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of ever getting out of here. And it really tore my heart. I was really sad. And Ron said that he even remembered what he was wearing.
Yeah, he had a Western get-up. You know, he had the 6 guns on each hip, and the vest and the cowboy hat, and yeah, he made a striking figure for sure.
Now you guys did end up having children, and one of your child did have some problems.
Yes.
How many children did you have?
We have 2. We have a daughter, Andrea DeBron. Ron and Deb makes DeBron. And Andrea was born in Kelowna on May 9, 1972. And she is going to be 51 in a few days. She's a music teacher, and she did well in school throughout everything. Won a lot of scholarships, and she's a music teacher.
Yeah.
And 14 years later, we had Sonny. Sonny was, for all purposes, born normal. That's what his health records say. We believe, as we put the pieces of the puzzle together, he got his mumps, measles, and rubella vaccine at 16 months.
Mm-hmm.
And within about, I believe, 10 days or so, we had gone to Edmonton to the honor band where Andrea was performing, and in the night at the Algonquin Motel, Sonny went into seizure, and we called the ambulance, and he was in Misericordia Hospital for the next 10 days with undiagnosed medical concerns. His little cheek swole huge. Because I'd lost my father when he was age 44 of stomach cancer, I was afraid to sleep. I was awake for 72 hours until my family, my mom and my sister Jan and my brother-in-law Jesse came to the Misericordia Hospital to be with us for support. I didn't go to sleep for 72 hours until my mother came. That is how close a bond we have with our family. And we prayed for Sonny. We got a name of a pediatrician, Dr. Popowich. We brought Sonny home, and then we started in dealing with medical issues and different things until finally Sonny got the clinical diagnosis of psychomotor retardation and autism.
Okay.
And I believe that the MRI vaccination might have triggered it. Sonny could have had some issues before.
But you didn't see evidence of that?
Not at the beginning, but he did have my mom noticed it first. He had little blinking spells. My mom was a nurse, so she picked up on things more than I did. But yeah, it began Ron and I on a journey that we would never want to have, but we want it. The journey's all leading us home to heaven, and how the Lord has to work with us so we will realize the value of our salvation. He will do what it takes.
Yeah. Amen. So tell me about that process, maybe the realization of having a child with this diagnosis, as you say. What do you call it? Mental or
Psychomotor retardation and autism.
Psychomotor retardation.
That means in all areas.
In all, okay.
Yeah. Sonny didn't get out of diapers completely until he was 12. He is still very challenged verbally.
Yeah.
His receptive, he can understand far more than he can express, but he does his best, and Sonny can win your heart. That is Sonny's gift. Once somebody meets Sonny, sees who he is for who he is, they will go extra miles to make sure he is safe.
Yeah.
And that is why we have become strong advocates for people for developmental disabilities, not just for our Sonny, but for all Sonnies out there, because they need protection.
And so this has turned into a ministry for you.
Yes.
And a movement, I would say, almost, right?
It's actually, in 1990, I started writing, and my first article was, "Are You Prepared?" And I copyrighted, at the beginning, I took a copyright out, just poetry and articles, and it's Dimensions of Love. And I just been adding to it over the years. It's actually a family, and it's a prayer ministry. And so people that do, and for over 33 years, Glimpses of Sonny's life has been published in the yearly women's devotional books of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So for over 33 years, 2 or 3 stories every year circle around in the community of Adventists. So I felt these prayers for our family helping us take care of our child. They also have inspired other parents to be the best parents they can be.
I've often heard it that having a child with a disability, sometimes a severe disability, teaches people how to love. What has been your learning experience, or what has been the growth experience that you've seen in your life with a child like Sonny?
May I explain too that through just what you hear, and that most families that have a child with this depth of severity in their disability, the father's usually gone from the picture within 5 years.
Okay.
The dads just can't handle it, and then the moms have to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to really say I admire Sonny's dad. He never abandoned his family. He has truly been an honorable father figure, taking care of us the best we can, and he's got a pretty good story. He was the one that got Sonny out of diapers, if you'd like to hear that.
Well, I was involved with drywalling homes for years and years, and bring Sonny to school.
Crystal Park
School, and then at the end of his school day, I'd pick him up and take him to the job site, and we had well, it was kind of a crude porta potty. It was an oak toilet seat, and a bucket with a garbage bag, and I'd have that set up, just in case, Sonny would announce ick, and have to.
Because that was his keyword for I have to go to the bathroom. Okay.
Exactly.
Because we say ick every time we changed his diaper.
So anyways, that, worked very well, and then one cold winter day, I forgot to bring the items in from the van, and
This was when he was about 10.
yeah,
Okay.
the bucket and the toilet seat were sitting in the cold van all day long, and no sooner we got into the house and he announces ick. So I run out there and get the bucket and seat and set it up, and goes to sit down, sits down on that cold seat, and up like a shot. Cold! Lost the urge.
Yeah, it's over.
But also, I used to, if we didn't get them on the pot quickly, I always had a thermos of hot water, and, washcloths and everything, clean them up, and, but then, that, eventually that, he was good, we didn't have those kind of situations too often, but, and like with, he also realized, we'd be traveling into town and pee, so I'd bring the car to a screeching halt on the shoulder of the road, and he'd, take care of his need, and away we go. But we'd go on a trip, say down to the coast or to the States, and he figured out that on these trips, if he announced pee, we'd stop at a service station, and that stop would usually, before we left, resulted in getting a treat, be it chips or nuts or whatever. But eventually he got out of the diapers, and didn't have any mishaps, and
And Sonny will always need the care of a 3-year-old as the supervision that a normal person would give a 3-year-old. So he has to be monitored all the time. And we give his caregivers a heads up. If they're walking in Mississippi Park or something, if he has to pee, just get him to a bush as fast as you can or around the corner. It is what it is. And we are not ashamed. Sonny, we are just, it's his biggest victory in his life being out of diapers, or he would not have the lifestyle he has today. And that's what I mean, why he wins people's hearts. We just work with Sonny, and we found that if everyone on Sonny's team keeps Sonny the priority, making his life as happy as possible, we're all winners.
Yeah.
We absolutely are all winners. And he's got a fantastic team of support people, and he is a part of each one of them.
Yeah.
one of his support workers had an incident with him. Got trapped in the McDonald's drive-thru, and all of a sudden, Sonny announced his pee and hopped out of the car.
What do you do?
When he's got to go, he's got to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he doesn't doesn't differentiate what's about staying private. You know it.
But we've never brought any shame to Sonny's body or modesty or anything. We've got enough issues like this. We are what we are, and he doesn't need to have things brought into that he can't understand.
Yeah.
Or anything sexual, anything like that. People are people.
You mentioned earlier that when you visited that mental institution, you thought, God, I don't ever want a child like this.
Yes, I did pray that.
And God did give you a child like this. What do you think God was teaching you? Or what is God showing you through having a child like Sonny?
He said, I proved you wrong.
Yeah.
You can, and you still have your child, and Sonny's still living with us today.
Yeah.
And something too, Sonny is 36. He'll be 37 in June 19th. Maybe it's on Father's Day this year. I don't know. But going through the system, they're always promoting the idea that magic number 18 comes along. It's time to place your child in a group home or move on with your life. You've done your bit. You're worn out parents. Get on with it. Let somebody else get a service provider and just move on.
And you don't want to do that.
We haven't moved on in 18 years. He's 18 years, but I could see that was where the pointing direction. If we could do it over again, I believe that we would have built a home where eventually the main level would have been Sonny's home with his support team as he gets older. That'll have to be 24/7. And Ron and I would have a suite in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
We did not design our home that way because when we had our home 5 years before Sonny was born.
Yeah.
But going forward, if that could be something that I could recommend to parents, you do not have to give your child away.
Mm-hmm.
You do not. It will work.
Yeah.
It will work. And also, at one point in time, I would call myself a perfectionist. I mean, I couldn't even be sick unless I cleaned my house, and then I could lay down and rest. But having a child like Sonny, anything works.
Yeah.
And I've told his caregivers... Flexible. I've told his caregivers since the get-go. Sonny started at Crystal Park School when he was age 2.5, early intervention. So he has... And then he graduated when he was 18 from Peace Wapiti Academy. And then when he got out into community, go out and enjoy the day. Go out and have fun. Make it as pleasant for everybody as possible.
Yeah.
Because when you've had your child at death's door, like Sonny was when he was really small, you realize you might not have tomorrow. Just make every day as worthwhile and as pleasant as it can be. And that's how we've lived our life. I'm not saying that we have not had our share of tears, because we have had many, many tears. And we've had a lot of arrows. Not everybody wants to be happy. And two, there's a reason why that God says he's jealous for his people, and he will protect them, because sometimes people get jealous of you, and there's no winning if somebody wants to be a stumbling block. Through all of these years, whenever there was a opposition to, or somebody trying to challenge our ministry, or what I guess challenge would be, or not have the best interest in heart for us, I felt that if I do not let other people be a stumbling block, I'm doing us both a favor.
Okay.
Because God doesn't like stumbling blocks, and I don't want to be a stumbling block to anybody. And I know what it says about stumbling blocks. What they should go into the lake. So just nobody has been a stumbling block for us.
Debbie, how did you start your ministry?
Well, actually, it started with 3 days of crying. And it started in January of 1990. But the floodgates opened in May 1990. I cried for 3 days, and then I wrote the article, Are You Prepared?
Yeah.
And took me a while to figure it out, but actually I was entering in a covenant with the Lord. He made it very clear to me that if I was going to be used by him in a vessel that he could use in witnessing and going forward, there were 3 conditions. Number 1, I had to stay faithful in my marriage. If I were not faithful, there would be no credibility to my story.
Yeah.
Second, I needed to protect other people's dignity, and in doing so, he would be pleased to protect mine. He used the word pleased to protect mine. And I do believe I've done my best. I do use names, but I do try to protect people's dignity. I want people to treat my children with dignity, so I want to treat other people with dignity. And the third thing was I could harbor no bitterness in my heart towards anyone.
That's huge.
It was huge. And that's where we're coming when we have a time to share about Sonny's shirts. That's why we're wearing these shirts today.
Yeah.
Because through COVID, I was starting to get bitter.
There you were.
I was. And heaven heard my voice. I actually screamed, enough is enough. And that was February 3rd, 2022.
Wow.
So that's my story.
What do you guys love about each other?
Well, Debbie's very tolerant of me. I sometimes can have a short fuse and puts up with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate that.
Patience.
Many times I get that gentle reminder, you asked me for this man. You asked me. And I give good gifts. And God does give good gifts. And what has kept Ron and I together, and again, with honesty, we've put our children before ourselves. Both our children. We love our children equally, but Sonny needs far more attention.
Yeah.
And we are so glad that Andrea is able to fill our shoes when the time comes. And Ron had a heart attack last August, and she stepped right in, and she took Sonny 3 weeks to Victoria. She did a marvelous job. There's a real special bond between our children.
Yeah.
And there's only the 4 of us. It's all we have to rely on. We have no one else in Canada to rely on except us four. And if necessary, because Sonny and I have dual citizenship, we have the option of going home too if we need a respite from other family members. And I love my husband because I know where he was at when we were married, and he has grown so much in the last 52 years. And we know we're going home together. And our kids are coming with us. The only thing we're bringing with us is our kids.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, Debbie, what do we have over here?
Okay, first, I want to tell you about Sonny Art. For the last 12 years, through Family Managed Supports, an agreement with the Alberta government, we get about $1,000 a year for educational purposes. That's about $20 a week. And I find inspirational items, and I put beads of glue on things, and these are called Sonny gems. I find these, and then Sonny is quite capable of gluing all of these on. Sometimes I help him with the little things, and we share these. They're purchased with your taxpayers' dollars, and so the government is a stakeholder in Sonny's ministries. On the back, we kind of give a little bit of a story. This Sonny is the lead singer in the Grande Prairie Friendship Band. My name is Bonus Bailey. That was a nickname my uncle gave to me when I was 19 years old. It'll be in the book. I'll explain that in the book.
And tell me about the dime on the bottom.
The dime is Dimensions of Love is my ministry. When I was 7, I used to steal dimes out of my dad's pocket. When I was 6, there was something that happened to me that really has shaped the person I am and made me the protective parent I am. I was sexually molested, and I had to go to the grand jury and explain all by myself, and I was frightened. And long story short, the old man that was the pedophile, he was our neighbor, and he spent the last 3 years of his life in jail. But that's made me a protective parent. Anything of this nature that ever happened to Sonny, or my daughter, it can destroy people. But I've raised above that. So anyway, about the dime is, my father passed away when he was 44 of stomach cancer. I was already pregnant with Andrea, and he was bringing me back home to Canada, him and my mom. And it was a mile from the U.S.-Canadian border on the American side. I needed to confess to my dad about stealing dimes when I was 7. Guardian angels heard me, and I confessed right there to my dad, and of course he forgave me. Absolutely, he forgave me. And the Lord used my confession and turned it into a ministry, and I got the name Dimensions of Love from Pastor Hessel. He's told me once, he says, I've never seen this Dimensions of Love that you have for little Sonny. And that Dimensions of Love stuck with me. So when I started writing in 1990, we made Dimensions of Love. And then a story was published about Sonny 20 years ago in Women of the Spirit magazine. And it is Seventh-day Adventist ministry. This has been my witnessing tool ever since. There was about 14,000 of these magazines in circulation. They often went to women's prisons. And I got $100 for writing this article. It cost $3 for the magazine, and I just had the women's ministry send them to 33 special people. Sonny's story's been in this book, Beautiful in God's Eyes, a sharing book that's gone around the world. For 33 years, bits and pieces of Sonny's life have been in these women's devotional books going around the world. This is my mom, Lila. She's holding up this book. My mom has supported my ministry from the get-go, absolutely financially, and so has my sister Janet. And I've made a little handout about Sonny's story. It's just small, and the back says everything. We're waiting for Jesus to come and get us. I share this way. My husband helped me write this book the first time. They're self-published, and we do it through Staples. Third, it was about our Christmas letter that had gone. You have one in your gift bag to Danielle Smith. It was addressed to Danielle Smith, and he said, I hope you take the risk and write your book. And just by the fact that he corresponded through it with us and make your voice known in heaven, those screams, my voice was made in heaven. And Pastor Chaplain Black, if this is my opportunity to thank you in person, thank you for listening. Thank you for encouraging us. And this is a great read, and I bought it in the Shepherd's Fold. And I also bought 4 other books. Ron gave me this. I think I gave one to one politician and 2 doctors, and I have a sharing copy. So again, Chaplain Black, you have made a huge difference in our lives, and thank you for encouraging me to stay the course. And that's about it.
Thank you, Debbie.